Hello and welcome to Open Book. This is a podcast about philosophy. And mind you, I feel like I have a good grasp on what philosophy is. It's not about finding the question, it's about getting to the question. Getting to the question and getting to the answer.
What an interesting intro to the show.
Yeah, my name is Harry Kerametlian, joined here by
Bryan Mohler.
I almost said Brad.
Yeah, it's because we were talking about World War Z before this. You got Brad Pitt on the brain.
Hey, World War Z is relevant to what we will be talking about.
Especially the book.
Yeah, I've never read the book. I didn't even know the book existed. But
book's fairly different property.
Yeah,
I
don't know anything about it. But before we get to that, how are you doing today, Bryan?
I'm fine, man.
You're doing fine?
Yeah. I wish I baked cookies Sunday night.
You bake?
I bake. And I wish I still had them. I ate them all, but I wish I still had them.
Why didn't you give any to me?
Because I cooked them Sunday night and ate them Monday morning.
You're such a mean person.
Harry, if I didn't...
You don't care about me!
If I didn't tell you I baked cookies, we wouldn't be having this conversation.
That's very true.
Yeah. What you don't know can't hurt you.
Ignorance is bliss, and that's a whole part of philosophy.
Wow.
Because, you know Grace, our producer, but she was on here for the first episode.
She was.
I started, asking her all these questions, basic philosophical questions, and then she started, questioning her whole existence and her reality, and, that's what philosophy does, right? Ignorance is bliss.
Yeah, to a degree.
To a degree. But yeah, I guess we can move on.
Let's move on. Let's get to the main topic.
Yeah. So, the question I have for you today is, well, imagine yourself up in the Himalayas, right? This is exactly what I talked about on the DJ, but, not many people probably heard it.
Well, the crossover audience is really small.
Yeah, it was very brief, so it wasn't recorded either, so I'm just going to talk about it again. So, you're up in the Himalayas, right? You have no navigation. I don't know how you ended up there. You have no navigation. You're with your two hiking buddies, right?
Why are we hiking in the Himalayas?
Huh?
Why are we hiking in the Himalayas?
I don't know. It's hypothetical.
You can't hike in the Himalayas.
Oh, whatever. You're up there.
They're the tallest mountain range on Earth. Hiking in them is like walking around the base.
You're up there. Okay, what is the proper term for this?
Mountain climbing, mountaineering.
Sure, mountain climbing in the Himalayas. Okay, and you're in the middle of a blizzard. You have no idea where you're going, and you're pretty much starving, right? And all you have is basic camping gear, including a stove and.
Okay, so I'm not gonna freeze to death.
Yes.
Okay, because that's the real concern immediately is freeze to death.
Yeah.
What you're getting at is we're gonna run out of food and we have to eat.
Yes, you're starving.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have nowhere.
Weakest person who's not gonna make it, eat him.
Okay.
Question answered.
Wow. That was.
If he's not gonna live, okay, one of us is not gonna make it out of this, right? If we're in a situation in which the choices are death or eat someone. Someone was gonna die anyway.
That is 100% true.
And but once they're dead, it's not like they're using it.
This is a very rational conclusion, but is it ethical to eat another person?
Yes.
Why?
I wouldn't just walk around doing it, right?
Yeah.
But if they're dead, and if they're dead. Right? Because we're talking about a different thing.
Yeah, sure.
My comprehension of this is essentially, you are already dead, right? The three of you are already dead people, basically.
Hypothetically dead, like Schrodinger's
live person.
Yes.
But really, you have metaphorically died, and the thing that can pull you back from that is eating a person who is already themselves dead, especially if they're literally physically dead.
So you're saying that you would just be able to casually
Well, no.
Get out of that situation eventually, like after eating that person with your other partner, and climb down the Himalayas and just live your life normally after that?
Well, no, that's a traumatic experience, but I'm saying the rational thing to do is to eat the weakest person.
Okay, so,
There's a difference between traumatic experience and what I would do now. That's not the point of this. But
you just seemed like you would, like, it was so nonchalant.
I've thought about it.
Deserted
Island, eat me. Don't eat me first. Eat Karlach first.
Ladies and gentlemen, Bryan.
If the Ram Radio crew is on a deserted island with no food, we're eating Karlach first.
Okay, I remember this conversation we
Respectfully, bad back, old, a large person. He could feed us all.
I don't know, man.
He can't exactly work. He's got limited mobility.
Okay, what we would be eating mostly is the muscle and you know what? Why are we even having this conversation?
Cook stuff in their fat. That's what people have been doing with animal fat for centuries, millennia even. You brought this conversation up. You started it.
Okay, no, I expected something completely different.
What did you expect me to say? Eating people is never okay?
Yeah, because that's literally what everyone keeps telling me.
No, that's stupid.
Okay, so
life or death. Okay, I thought about this in a million permutations. Lost at sea, eat the weakest one. Stuck on a mountain, eat the weakest one. Deserted island, eat the weakest one. If you're in an extreme situation in which you have no food, you are gonna die anyway. Okay?
Yeah.
The chances of you making it out are exponentially low.
Yes.
If eating someone, A, brings down the amount of people you have to take out of this, and B, makes the people who are escaping stronger and more likely to do it, do it.
Okay. I'm going to...
Oh, but it's going to scar me for life. Oh, but it's unethical. There are two states you can be in, alive and dead. Once you're dead, you don't get a say in anything. It's not respectful to the dead person. If I'm the weakest one, eat me. Let me die peacefully and eat me.
There really are two kinds of people in the world.
Strangle me with a pillow or something. I don't care how it happens.
Bryan is like the one kind of person on Earth, and the other kind of person is Cynthia. If people out there, if the audience watches
our wonderful social media Faculty Spotlight person, Cynthia.
She is a wonderful person.
And would probably never ever eat someone even to save her own life.
Yes, she has her morals in check. She's like very strong about it.
It's just they're dead. What are we talking about?
Okay, what she told me was she wouldn't eat a person even if she was going to die. Even if she was going to die, she would, like, in any situation, she would never harm another person.
Wow. So her will
unless
to live
they're,
is
like,
just
obviously
weak.
harming them, like, with, a machete or whatever.
Yeah. Well, if you're killing them with a machete, you're losing a bunch of calories, too. So you should just let them die.
Yeah.
You should just let them, you should just stop giving them water.
But the point is, like, I even asked her this, right? Would she even, like, eat another person if, she had dependents back at home and she had to get back to them? I know the hypothetical situation really just doesn't match up, like, having dependents at home while you're up in the Himalayas.
My thing is like shipwrecked desert island is the one I generally tend to go for because it's a little more believable.
Yeah. But I say Himalayas because it's cold up there. You can also freeze the
you can freeze people in the same flavor.
Exactly.
Yeah. So you've thought about this too. You're calling me out for it. Wow.
It was just something that came to mind. Anyways, like she would say even if she has dependents at home, she would still not eat another person. Like even if she has like a newborn at home.
And see, this is because she believes people have a thing called a soul. And I think you're a meat automaton animated by neurotransmitters. Is that what you're getting to?
I don't know. Am I?
You are, patently. Are you a person?
Yeah.
Congratulations, you're a meat automaton.
Well, people have called me an alien before, but that's another topic.
That's because they're being racist. And that's not okay. Racism's not okay. Eating people in a desperate survival situation, fine. Being racist, not okay. You think I'm joking? I'm bringing off like I'm joking, but I'm being completely serious.
No, I meant alien as in like the little green man.
Yeah?
Okay. That's a completely different
topic. They're insulting you for being autistic.
Yeah.
That's debatably slightly more okay than being racist, but in the same ballpark.
Sure, Bryan.
Yeah.
But anyways, my point is, or like my stance in this is, I feel like I do agree with you to an extent, right? I'm like in the middle zone between what Cynthia says and what you say.
Wow.
Right? If I have like a strong reason to live, like, you know, like I said, having a dependent at home, I would do it, right? I would eat another person in that situation alone, right? Like where it's like extreme, and there's no other option, right? And obviously you're also up in the Himalayas. There's nothing to eat up there, especially in a blizzard.
Snow, but that's water.
That's water. There's no nutrition.
You're not gonna die of thirst.
True, but that's really not.
Yeah,
that's really irrelevant.
That's not the silver lining we think it is.
Yeah, like even like on a deserted island, you could potentially fish, right? You could.
Well, but there you're gonna die of thirst.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's the complete opposite. But like you can fish, and you could eat those
kill
fish.
Crabs and stuff, and you don't have to eat people.
Yep, exactly. Right. There's like options. But up in the Himalayas, there's really nothing. So in that situation alone, and on top of that, I have like a dependent at home that really, really needs me. In other words, I'm like true meaning for life. I will eat another person.
Yeah.
But if I don't have that kind of meaning, right? Like just to cling on to life, like persist, then I would probably just die of starvation or let the others eat me.
Oh, no, I wouldn't want to die of starvation. Kill me before that happens.
Actually, that's true. I don't even know what dying of starvation
that's when you just walk out in the blizzard with no clothes on and you feel warm for 30 seconds, then it just goes black.
Yeah. I feel like, yeah. And plus, in that situation, the others would be able to eat you too.
Yeah, then they can just go out and grab you.
Yeah. It's cold and frigid outside.
Depends on the exact survival situation of everyone involved.
Yeah.
Because if you have an injured person, then they're not making it off the mountain.
Yeah.
They're not making it off the mountain. Or if we take a less extreme mountain, if you're like in the mountains but not on the highest mountain range on Earth, where it's cold but you don't have like ridiculous blizzards and you can like breathe and crap. Right, and you have no contact with the outside world, and you have someone with an injury, especially to the legs. To the arms, you can make it out, but to the injured in the legs, you're not making it off the mountain without some serious assistance, and unless you can nigh on guarantee that they're going to be okay for a couple of days until you can get that serious assistance to them.
Yeah. No, I've watched Frozen. Not the Disney movie. Not the Disney movie. The other movie.
The one where they freeze Walt Disney's head.
I think so. Well, it's the one where they went skiing. They went skiing up in the mountains, and they were like the three teenagers. I don't know. We're like, we're gonna go up the mountain one last time to the guy who was operating the
the ski lift.
Yeah, the ski lift. But then he's like, yeah, okay, that sounds good. But then he like swaps out with another guy, and the other guy didn't know that they were still on the ski lift, and it was closing time for the
weekend. Turns it off, and they're stuck on there for a couple days. Yeah.
Yes, that one. And there's wolves, and there's a lot of
presumably someone jumps off and breaks their leg.
Yeah, did you see it?
No.
Oh.
But
I mean, that's literally what happens.
But the plot's pretty predictable. They get stuck on the ski lift. You jump off the ski lift. Someone breaks something in their legs.
And also another guy freezes to death, and another guy gets mauled by
wild animals.
Yes.
Yeah.
The guy who broke his leg does.
Oh yeah. Okay. Well,
Spoilies.
He wasn't gonna make it out alive anyway.
Yeah. No. This is kind of just what you were talking about, like freezing to death. Reminded me of. It's just something. I don't know.
Harry, do you know about the fate of HMS Terror and HMS Erebus?
I have no idea what that is.
They're two boats that were sent to find the Northwest Passage. Do you know what that is?
Nope.
It's the route from the Atlantic Ocean to the Pacific Ocean by going over Canada.
Oh, yeah.
And if you could find a way to do that without getting stuck in the ice, back before the Panama Canal opened, it would be very valuable. Now, we have the Panama Canal now. You don't need to take the Northwest Passage. There is a Northwest Passage. But the Panama Canal makes it kind of moot now because it's no ice, less dangerous, and closer to everything that kind of matters. But back before that, this is the 1850s. Finding the Northwest Passage was a really big deal. And so the British Royal Navy is very invested in this because they also own Canada, right?
Yeah.
So they send a bunch of explorers, a bunch of ships up there over the years to find it. And they send these 2 ships called the Erebus and the Terror. One named after some child of a Greek god, the other Terror. And essentially, these 2 ships get stuck in the ice. And then there is a string of unusually cold summers. And so they don't actually unfreeze. They don't actually get stuck. They get out of the ice for like 2 years. And they run out of food. And have to make I think it's like a 1,000-mile trek to the head of the St. Lawrence, I want to say. Could be a different river in Canada. Because they're around like Prince Edward Island, if you know where that is.
No idea.
In the Arctic Circle, right? And they have to walk from the Arctic Circle to the bottom of Hudson's Bay, basically.
How many miles is that?
It's close to 1,000. I think it's a little over 1,000.
And here I struggle to walk a mile a day.
And they have to do this while dragging ships' boats on sleds. Don't have to, but they were going to use the boats to get down the river to get to a Hudson's Bay trading post. Yeah. Where they are in no danger of starving to death or dying of thirst or being killed by wild animals, right? And so they start doing this. And mind you, many people on the crew are already kind of weak. This is the 19th century. Typhus and diseases and scurvy. Basically, all of them have scurvy at this point.
Especially on a ship.
Yeah. And also there's some stuff with the food being old kind of bags. It's made with lead. Anyway, whole other thing. And they start doing this. And they make it like a remarkable way into the interior of Canada. They make it like 600 miles or something.
Oh, wow.
Before a dude writes in a logbook, everyone else dead or dying, I'm going off alone, I'm leaving the boats, and literally just nails it to a boat and vanishes into the wilderness, never to be seen again. Except, okay, there were a few Inuit who said they saw a white man in a parka traveling with an Inuit family in like the 1870s. It's theorized it could have been this dude. But basically the whole crew freezes to death or dies of starvation. And at points, we find camps with human remains who have been determined to have died from stuff like typhoid or cold or malnutrition that have been butchered.
Oh, butchered.
Yeah, butchered for their calories. And we're talking about a fairly desperate situation. We're in the high Arctic, or the low Arctic, theoretically. But this is not Canada with infinite trees and elk to hunt, right? This is Canada that is basically a sea of rocks. So I believe it was on the south tip of like Prince Edward Island, called Prince Edward Land by them, but it was later discovered to be an island.
So this literal hypothetical situation that I brought up
has happened.
Has happened.
Yeah, just in the high Arctic, not in high Arctic with boats, and not in the Himalayas with mountain climbers.
Oh, man.
The only guy we know to have survived the expedition was taken off the ship at Iceland because he had pneumonia. They found the ships in the 1860s, and they were in remarkably good condition.
So in other words, we do in fact know that in desperate situations where, like, you know, food,
people will eat other people.
Yeah, unavailable, and you're like dying of starvation. Yeah, people will eat other people.
Do you know the story of the Donner Party?
No.
Kind of similar. They're stuck at a mountain pass in the winter. Was a group of Americans going to Utah, and they're stuck in a mountain pass over winter with not enough food for everyone, and in the process of slowly taking people out one by one, because you can't get a wagon or a horse down the mountain, so you have to walk. Yeah. Basically, all the people who are strong enough to do it on foot leave, and all the people who aren't slowly just freeze and starve to death. And a number of them start digging up people's bodies to eat, and then that up. Yeah, because people had died of other things. I thing. I believe it was a woman had died in childbirth. A few people had died of disease, and then were buried. Yeah, that happened.
Wow.
That was like the leading cause of death for women for like the first 2 million years.
Oh yeah, no, I know about that, but
Yeah.
like in that situation too, like that's just
Yeah,
horrifying.
Many people had died for many reasons, and some of them had been dug up and eaten because the ground had frozen, so they're basically in perfect shape.
Yeah.
Dug up and eaten, and then people go, well, this guy's about to eat it, just and eat him. It's not frozen, right? In better shape. We don't have to cut bits off of it, right? Just eat him. And at the end of it, the two Native American guides who were sort of taking people up and down the mountain, they come around sort of at the end of winter, and they go, hey, dude, are you good to leave? Like, you seem stronger than you were a few months ago. Can you walk? And he's like, no, I think I'll just wait till spring and leave on my own. And they go, that's going to be like a month, right? And he's like, I'll be fine. They go, that's not cool.
Why?
And these particular group of Native Americans are one of the many who have a taboo against cannibalism. And they go, oh, this dude's been eating people. Like, so what happens is eventually them and some of the other party members who had gone down to the safe place, it was some fort in Utah. So they go back to the fort and they tell, hey, we think this guy's eating people. And some of these dudes who come back up have family up there still. Mm-hmm. And what happens is they show up and basically tell this dude threaten him at gunpoint and go, are you eating people? And he goes, I may or may not have dug up some dead bodies. And they go, that's not cool because you could have just left.
Mm-hmm.
But also a little understandable. That's not the end of the world. They were already dead. He goes, oh yeah, but then I just let this guy with typhoid die and I ate him too. You want to see his head? And then they just shoot him and leave.
I mean, like in a situation where they're already dead and you...
It's a very interesting permutation because if they had died already and you're very desperate, I find that even more understandable. But then the evolution of that into active cannibalism is kind of scary.
I know, and I guess...
The thing that would give me pause is doing it once makes doing it again way more acceptable, and it lowers the bar for doing it again.
I'm pretty sure that's like the same with murders, right? Like serial killers.
Once you do it once, it's like
it's all natural.
First time's the hard one, right?
Yeah.
So it would be one of those. I would only consider something like that in a situation where it truly is a small group of people, truly desperate situation. If eating one person is guaranteed to doesn't guarantee, but gives the rest of you a much better chance of survival, and that person's already very weak or already close to death or already dead, I don't see a problem with it. Or I see a problem is when we're actively killing people.
Yes, exactly. Like if coming back to the Himalayas scenario,
the original hypothetical.
If I were to eat another person, I will carry that burden with me.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's a traumatic experience.
Exactly. But then there's people who cross that line who just don't even give a crap and would let the other person in the Himalayas, because you're with two people.
Would eat the other person.
Yeah,
probably.
would eat the other person. Yeah, that's where the line gets crossed. And
I think it is sort of like killing people, because some of the accounts you hear from people like soldiers is, I remember the first person I killed. I remember exactly what I was doing. I remember exactly what happened. I remember the exact way he died. Mm-hmm. Everyone after that, gone. Mm-hmm. Don't even remember it.
Hey, that reminds me of that musical that's been getting popular lately from TikTok that my girlfriend's obsessed over. What was it? Odysseus? Something like that?
What?
Like, I don't know. It's like a music.
Enunciate.
It's about this guy in, I think, Sparta, Rome? I'm sorry if...
The Odyssey?
I don't know, maybe?
Odysseus? Is that who it's about?
I think so. I don't really know. I only, hear the songs
time's a flat circle.
But no, it's about this guy who goes to war for 30 years and...
Yeah, this is the Odyssey.
Yeah.
Yeah. Time's a flat circle. Oh my god.
Am I pronouncing things wrong?
No, you're pronouncing right. It's just the Odyssey was written 5,000 years ago.
Oh yeah. Well, no, the
modern adaptations. Yes.
Yeah, it's getting...
There's probably a Broadway musical going around.
I mean, I think it's only music right now, like just the music.
Okay. I'm not on TikTok. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like stuck in my head because my girlfriend keeps playing it, but no, like I'm pretty sure I'm just pulling this out of my head. I don't know. I don't remember like enough, but the guy can't remember everyone who he killed, and he like talks about how he's not like the same person he was 30 years ago, like before the war and all that. I don't know. It's just something that reminds me of.
Well, it stuff like that leaves a mark on you. You're someone before, and then you're someone after.
Yeah.
And that stuff can be 30 years, or it can be like 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Like those little micro moments that change your life forever. Get them away from me. I don't like them.
But I guess since we're drawing closer to the end of this episode, I will just briefly say to the audience that we do not necessarily support cannibalism, especially if it makes no sense. Like, to go out and be like, I'm just saying, like,
oh yeah, I'm gonna go eat my neighbor. That's psychopath behavior.
Exactly.
Your neighbor's a person. Your neighbor has like autonomy. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The only time I would say it's okay is in those extreme situations.
Yes,
where the rational thing to do is, who's gonna live, who's gonna die? Well, we're all gonna die if we don't do this.
Mm-hmm.
One of us is gonna die if we do this.
Mm-hmm. This is like more of like a fun thought experiment.
Yeah.
Anyways,
I would be loath to ever be in a situation in which I had to make that choice.
Yeah, and that's also why I do not want to go on these extreme expeditions up in the Himalayas or go cave diving and get stuck or something.
I would go to the high Arctic once, and I would be on a boat or an airplane that never gets close to the coast, and I would take one step on and be like, cool, get back on the boat and leave.
Mm-hmm. That's I mean, it's more of a flex than anything.
Yeah, it's to say you did it.
Yeah, exactly.
Or our Carlock, who's been to Antarctica.
He has?
Yeah, you don't know that?
No.
Get him. Ask him about the penguin.
The penguin. Okay,
yeah, the penguin.
I will. I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's been to Antarctica.
The people who've never even seen Antarctica being like, oh yeah, that place is like full of like
There's a lot of snow,
government conspiracies and all that.
No, it's just a barren wasteland with penguins in it.
Penguins. Oh, they're so cute. And stinky.
The ones in Antarctica aren't. They're like the size of me.
Yeah. Well, I know about that. And also stinky. Apparently
all birds stink.
They like... I don't know. They're very stinky.
All birds stink.
Not really.
Yes.
Parrots.
Chickens stink. Parrots stink less.
Well, on that note, I think that will wrap it up for this one. Thank you, Bryan Mohler, for once again coming on this podcast. I know you love these kinds of like thought experiments.
I actually like totally do, especially when I have like related historical knowledge to pull on.
You literally brought on two.
Well, right? when I can like talk about literally two of my like most morbidly fascinated events in history. Yeah,
and like these things also pop up on YouTube sometimes, and you're just like, oh my god, this is so fascinating.
I'll send you a video on the Donner Party if you're interested.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a bunch of those.
There's a million of them.
But yeah, thank you for watching, and we will see you on the next one. Goodbye.
What's the word for being racist against birds? What's like the ist against birds? I really hope that ended with just me. It was just what's the word for being racist against